Hello, and welcome to the October 12th weekly JupyterLab call. Today we have 18 people on the call, and if you are on the Zoom channel, please find the link to the agenda in the chat and add your name to the attendees if you'd like to sign in. And if there's something you'd like to discuss, please add a bullet point in the agenda section with your name and whatever topics you'd like to talk about. And if you have something to discuss that might take a bit longer, then please add to the additional discussion section. I don't have any pre-beginning announcements, so why don't we get started? Jeremy is not on the call, I think, but he has some items that he added. Is that right? He's not on the call. Okay, so let's see, what has he added? There's a new pre-release of JupyterLab 4, and I encourage you to try it out with the command that he has there, the pip install -- pre JupyterLab equals that string 4.0.0 alpha 30. And you can play around with it if you don't want to install it with the binder that is linked in the gist in the agenda. So yeah, please play around with it. And next person on the agenda is Fred.
Not yet fully ready, but hello everybody, I can start. So on the release front, normally today I should do the release candidate for 3.5.0. Mike has asked for adding an additional bug fix or feature. I don't know how to characterize it. So basically, maybe I can share my screen. So there is some inconsistency in the path that's returned, depending on the drive. So that's the screen. Oh, okay. It's so it's highlighted nicely in the test. It's like if you create a new file that's on a certain path, like foo/test. If it's just created, you will get a path that looks like this. And if you just do the get, then you will get a slightly different path. So that's the first trouble, let's say. And the link to like the question behind is like, oh, is it possible in the front end to get the path that is needed for on the server side? So meaning here, in this case, it should be foo/test. So the PR of Mike is to add a new optional attribute in the content model that always contains the path that's that's useful for the server. So that seems perfectly fine for bringing Git backward in 3.5. My only question is that I post in comments is like, should we fix that behavior between like creating a new file and getting a file? There may be something else, but as Mike is connected, if he can speak, he's probably better than me to describe exactly what's the issue and if there are maybe other cases in which things are not consistent.
Thank you for bringing this up. The original issue in which it was raised was that someone was trying to implement a virtual contents manager based on an existing snippet which worked in Jupyter Notebook, but doesn't work in JupyterLab because in JupyterLab we have implementation of an iDrive API which takes control and modifies the path returned by the contents API, which in certain situations removes the information from the API on the new path, which might be different than the one originally requested. And this PR is a backward compatible way of exposing this true path as returned by the API. And I'm a little bit afraid that changing the behavior might break quite a lot of extensions which relied on the current behavior of the iDrive. So I'm not pretty convinced about which way we should go, but I thought that that could be backported to 3.5 before 3.6 was announced. So if we are doing 3.6 and there is no consensus, I'm happy to defer. It just seemed like something which would go into a minor release rather than a bug fix release. And waiting for 4.0 would be probably a bit long here to address this issue. But yeah, happy to hear the comments.
So we use some more similar thing to the dispatch pattern ourselves, or the multiple contest managers in the back end. But I don't see normally. I don't encounter any issues with. We don't use the drives in the lab side, to put it like this, for anything. So it seems like I should have something to say here, but I don't understand exactly what the issue is, why it doesn't work, or what it is that doesn't work.
So what doesn't work is that you cannot expose the file on the path to the file on the file system if that is returned from the app API, and it is different from the one which the client sends. If you think that you might have some feedback, I'm happy to defer and wait for your comment on the original issue. That would be greatly appreciated.
Right. Okay. I'll read through it at least so I can understand it. And yeah, if you don't hear anything from me, I couldn't get through it or I couldn't make sense of it. But yeah, I'll do my best to give some feedback there.
Thanks, Vidar. So as Mike said, because we are starting already a 3.6 branch, the reason for it is we have customers that want RTC to be fixed in 3.x branches. As they are kind of an hurry, like end of the year is approaching fast, so we have already started the branch, and we'll be releasing first version like soon, because at Constack, so with other colleagues, we are a couple of us working on that project, so this is gonna move forward fast. So yeah, we can definitely, if you want, Mike, we can without trouble include it in 3.6, and it's gonna arrive soonish, like probably like within a month we'll release the first beta. And as usual, I have opened an issue to gather features if others have additional features. Like, it's not because RTC is a big thing that we cannot put other stuff in it. So feel free to add point on the issue that or features you would like to be backported on 3.6. Then I would like to thanks Mike and Andrew for reviewing the big PR of the notification stuff. I think I have taken all the comments into account. So if you could please have us final look, and so we can merge that, that would be appreciated. Thanks. And also regarding RTC, I've opened an issue because I was not able to find something already existing. There's gonna be with real-time collaboration some discussion needed. Oh, I forget to put the link actually. There's gonna be some discussion needed for metadata that are linked to view state, and so we probably should decide at the community level, what's the good behavior for those metadata. So to give an example is you can store, like officially in the format, you can store a flag that say you want to hide the outputs. So in the real-time collaboration case, it may be surprising if two users are looking at outputs, if one decides to hide them to just be able to look at multiple cells in the same time, when the other was actually looking at the output that may be not what the user are expected. So those kind of view states, they may need to be tackled differently in the real-time collaboration use case. So yeah, feel free to go to that issue and provide your insight or experience on that field. That would be very appreciated.
I don't know who was first, Mike or Vidar.
I think the ones that sourced to the left was first, typically.
Go for it.
Right. The RTC that you're bringing back to the 3.6 branch you mentioned, is this like fixes to the current implementation that is in the 3x branch, or is it all of the slightly breaking changes that were made to fix RTC in the 4x branch, right, that are backward incompatible?
So we're gonna break the shared model package. So the one that's the interface of YGS.
Right, because it's then backwards incompatible. And
yeah, because it was meant to be experimental. So that part we are taking the liberty of changing it, but then the connection, so then we will still keep the synchronization of the YGS model with the model DB inside 3.5, 3.6, so that normally we will be able to have consistent behavior with 3.5 with people relying on signals, stuff like that.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you will only be breaking the stuff that was behind the flag?
Yeah, that's the plan, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll add some of the interface, like the side panel, to be able to say who is connected and to in which files to jump directly to a user position. But those are less controversial, let's say. Yes, it's new features.
Right, so for the people who are not using the flag, they won't see anything breaking, but they will see new features.
They even won't, I think, because even the UX are under the flag. If the flag is not on, then the new panel are not displayed.
Okay, perfect.
For me, is the question regarding the RTC, does that fix the global undo or document-wide undo issue?
Carlos is not there. He's the expert on that question. So we're gonna, oh yeah, he's there. So if you want to jump in, feel free, Carlos, go ahead.
Yeah, we can only fix that once we adopt the new move feature from YJS. And I don't think we will do that in 3.6. That will be probably for 4. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And regarding the notification PR, I think that it's in pretty good shape, but I just wanted to highlight that the public API, all these methods return a string, which is the identifier of the notification. And my question is, should we possibly be returning a disposable object? And if not, that's fine, but I just wanted to get some other opinions on that one before approving the PR.
This is a 4.x PR, right? It's not going to be backported. so we can still for a short while modify the API if we think that that becomes necessary. But since we don't have that many consumers of notifications yet, maybe it's not obvious whether we want to return. So what does the disposable do in your mind? It clears away the visual notification on the screen. Is that what you're envisioning? I see. Yeah, I'm not sure.
You don't have to worry about passing the ID. You have an object to work with. So all the methods, such as updating or disposing in that case, would be bound to this object.
Do you think it would be better? Let's assume that that's an API we eventually end up with. Do you think it'd be better to release this PR, play with it, and then add it in a follow-on, or do you think it should be part of this PR?
I don't have a strong preference. I think it's fine either way. The other thing is that when you have an object, you can type it easily. When you have a string, the type safety is taken away. So you might pass an ID, which is not an ID or not a correct ID. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a good point. But I'm not sure. I mean, what do you think, Fred?
Yeah, I didn't do it because first, the library that we're relying on, it's using a string as an identifier. So that's the reason the API mainly is coming from. I'm not sure it's really what we want to do. Because if we return a disposable object, that's probably mean, usually we are doing that when we want only the user that create the object to be able to manipulate it. But we could have, in the case of notification, we could have other parties interested of playing with notification. Like if you want to connect to a backend, the notification center, or if you want to have other UI that are displaying things and dismissing them. So in that case, it may be more complex to know what's going on. But yeah, no strong feeling neither. It's like just it seems.
Okay, I think in the interest of moving forward, maybe we should ship this PR and see how the API feels and see if it would benefit from modifying it. But since it's already pretty large and since people have spent time reviewing it already and it's in a pretty good state, I would propose putting that into a follow-on if we decide to go that way. Cool. Okay. Anything else from you, Fred?
No, sorry, it was already long.
All right, Isabella, you are up.
Hello. Just an announcement for me today with the Notebook 7 pre-release accessibility stuff. We've kind of been talking about it for a while, but haven't really tested it. I know that knowing how to look for these things has been a question for people a lot in this community, whether that's for a release or just in reviewing a PR and reviewing your own work. So I'm gonna have a little small meeting today, 15 minutes after the scheduling of this one. So I think it does overlap with performance meeting, if I'm correct. So we'll be on a different channel, but if you want to come try some keyboard navigation techniques on Notebook 7, that's open to all. And yeah, it'd be awesome to see you there. You don't have to have any knowledge, just trying to kind of see, see how it goes, see what we can teach y'all, see if this is kind of patterns that we can keep sharing around for how to test stuff or not. So yeah, exciting accessibility stuff, maybe. Okay, am I getting a agenda? Yeah, let me fix that. Thank you. Have people been having that? Did HackMD change some default and I missed it? Because I've had this happen with a few meetings. No.
I've seen it when trying to edit, but not when trying to view.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that sorted. Thank you all for letting me know.
Cool, thank you. This is really good. If you do have the time, please help out on this, because this is a really good chance for us to make significant improvements to accessibility in Notebook, because it is going to be built of, or it is built of, lab components. And so anything we improve there, it also benefits the lab experience and gets the lab closer to being accessible as well. And yeah, thank you for leading this.
Yeah, it'll be an experiment, but thank you. We'll get there. We'll get to something solid eventually.
Cool. Okay. Any questions or comments before we move on?
Just the link you have passed is private, I think. As Vidar, I have 403.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right, Vidar, you are up.
Yeah, so just a technical question about the 3x branch. So I wrote the PR for the main branch where I was using native iterators. I got inspired by all the Lumino work that was going on. This is like, hey, this seems like a solution for iterators. Good. That's cool. I'm thinking that this probably I would want to backport it to the 3x branch if possible. The question is, do I need to use, can I use native iterators on the 3x branch, or would I need to rewrite it to use Lumino 1x iterators?
The version of TypeScript in 3x supports native iterators, and if there's no breakage because you're not interacting with something Lumino expects to be an iterator, then you could have a native one and no one would notice. Is that the situation you're in, or is there?
Yeah, this is a completely internal thing. So
yeah,
so it's not, we don't need to add any TypeScript libs to polyfill it or anything like that.
No,
It should just work out of the box.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, I'll tag you as a reviewer on the backport PR then, just to.
Cool. Okay. Great. Tanya, you are up.
Just in time. Sorry, I was running upstairs. I opened an issue that I linked to on the agenda. Well, Jason opened it, and then I added a lot of details regarding the documentation of JupyterLab. I think the current structure is a tad confusing. Admittedly, every time I have to go to the documentation, I know kind of what I'm looking for, so I never have to spend time going through the table of contents. When looking through the table of contents, like doing a deep inspection, and I understand that a lot of that has been growing very organically. It's very confusing, especially for newcomers or folks that want to start contributing or want to have more of a deep dive of how JupyterLab is structured, how to build extensions, how to contribute, how to do various things. So in that spirit, I'm proposing, well, I did a proposal on where the existing content that is already in the documentation. No, this is purely existing content, nothing about creating new content or rewriting major pieces of it, but where they would fit within a diataxis framework that is more oriented, more, let's say, goal-oriented, depending on what we want folks that are consulting a certain part of the documentation to get out of it. Whether it is very detailed step-by-step guides, I think we only have a couple of examples, namely those pertaining on how to build extensions, how to achieve a certain task. We have a few of those that are now placed, or in my proposal, placed under how-tos. And then we have a lot of this reference guides that are more nitty-gritty details of how JupyterLab, its internals, certain components or certain parts of it work or are put together. It's going to take a lot of work, restructuring. So I want to get as many eyes as possible into that proposal first, or comments. Mike has already made like some observations and comments, and I think also Darian was there. To get it out there, and I think this will be a very, very significant improvement for the whole community, contributors, and it'll also make it easier to identify what parts need some love or some upgrades or some maintenance long term, and should also make overall the maintenance and usability of the documentation better. And it's a lot of content, so I don't expect any in-depth details or thoughts or feedback or anything right now. But if any of you want to go have a mooch in that issue, that would be much appreciated.
Thank you for working on this. It is definitely a persistent piece of feedback we get about how it could be better, but it's, you know, it's easy to see that it could be better. It's hard to know how it could be better. So thank you for working on it. Does anyone have any questions or comments? And if you don't have them fully formed, please participate in the issue for sure. But if you have any questions or comments right now, that's cool too. Okay. Well, thank you again. I just have two quick sort of administrative announcements. One is I'll ask again if anyone's interested in hosting this call ever, please do. There's an issue where you can sign up for a specific date if you want. I think I only filled them in for the end of the year, but I'll add more as time progresses. If you have an interest, but you're kind of nervous and would like to talk through it, I am happy to help with that. And so are all the other people who've hosted this call in the past. Several of whom are on the call right now. And yeah, please do. The other thing is the YouTube channel. I had been neglecting it for a while, but I posted the last 8, I guess, or 9, the last 2 months worth of calls on there. So yeah, I don't know who watches those. Hi, YouTube. But yeah, they're up there. And oh, good, we have an additional discussion item to talk about. Great. Who added that? Who is adding it currently? I bet it's a Tony Fast join. I see you typing. You can't hide. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool.
Nick made a demo. Of course, I didn't do anything. There's a JupyterLab demo on the page. It's, if you check it out, I don't know. It doesn't use reveal, so it's cool. It has the interactive computation inputs and outputs. It works really well. Yeah, it's super cool. I'm excited about it. So yeah, if folks are looking for that presentation replacement, I think we all are, right? We're tired of hearing we want another rise. Maybe this could be a place to organize around it.
Very cool. Are you, and no pressure if not, but are you in a position to show it off right now?
Let me see. I'm going to talk out loud for a second while I figure out if I am. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing, yeah. So I can talk while we're doing this. One of the things that's extra sweet about the demo here, if I can, yeah, there we go. I do have a demo, is RTC works with this. So you can have, so it's running on read the docs, which means that it's all static and you can have your RTC. So this is, are you seeing Jupyter Deck? Welcome to Jupyter Deck.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So, you know, your full screen, you get your full screen view. You can start moving around through cells. So the keyboard navigation is kind of like tied to cells. It uses all of the common slide types and cell metadata. I even think there's some extra ones that aren't in there just yet. It's a JupyterLab plugin. It's got a bunch of cool stuff. Thanks for trying this out. There's some history about this, right? So Nick's been on this a few different times at this point, and he's released it everywhere. Of course, you know, this is just a weekend hack for Nick, where he builds an entire building. But this is on Jupyter Lite, running in PyDide. Oops, go here, and this is a place you can try it out, or even, you know, start cooking up your own presentation and seeing how it feels. But I'm sure that issues are welcome on the page.
That's neat. That's really cool. Any questions, comments? Okay. So we have some time. If there is anyone on the call who wants to talk about anything that they weren't sure about earlier, now's a good time. I'll give you a second. Okay. Well, then, if not, we can end the call a bit early. So there are 2 calls happening soon. Let's see, 23 plus 15 minutes from now. One is the performance call, and one is the accessibility for Notebook 7 pre-release. So if you're interested in either of those, the performance one's on this channel, and the accessibility call is in the agenda that's linked from this one under Isabella's name. I'm going to stop the recording in case there are any announcements anybody wants to make, so brace yourselves.